Doc from North America here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and it's happy to hump day already. It's Wednesday. Let me lower the volume on that device there. There we go. And let's see what's going on this morning. Let's see, what do we have up there? Oh, that's the dollar index. The dollar index is still trying to climb. It's trying to get into the buy. Still in that weekly buy now for, this is the 5th week. Let's take a look at it over on J4X. Let's see, right there. You see that pressure marching up. Marching up strong. For us, we've been in a weekly buy. We go into a daily buy. I guess we went into one right there. And then went into a daily sell right there. But we're in a weekly buy, so you can't take the short. You can only stand to the side. So sometimes watching Doc's math, you don't advance with, oh, let's move it in the wrong spot, right spot. Sometimes you just end up standing on the sidelines, but it's a lot better than losing money, and that's the whole idea. So let's put that in there on the daily buy too. Right there. Nope, one over. There we go. Change that color there, or put that color in, really. There we go. So there's the action with the dollar. I can just say from here, the news at the moment is that there's a lot of, they think that, I could say without a doubt, most people believe, in the financial markets, that the 0.75% increase coming is around the corner. It's going to come. There's no doubt about that. I mean, in my head, and I think the pricing of the bonds. Second thing is we saw yesterday where the 2-year bond traded at the same price or a little bit higher than the 10-year bond. And that's usually an indication of recession. And so we know that we're in that. And we know that, they're raising rates. And, the bonds reflect the raising. Oh, let me go to the chat line too. Sorry about that, traders. And then we know that oh, there you go. Hey, Robin. Hey, George. How you doing? Let's see. Hey, Jordan. And there you go. Morning to everybody. So we know that when bonds do stuff like that, that there's a recession, and then what happens is that usually equities try to buy, stocks and so forth, and bonds to some extent. They try to start dollar cost averaging into that stat because, I've heard these quotes about a statistic that goes on for decades upon decades upon decades, and that is that when you get the second quarter of confirmed recession, 6 months later, we usually are higher in price. So they know that that they can start to nibble in and try to dollar cost average now over the next 3 to 4 or 5 months, that type of thing, and that it's going to be a winning trade. That's usually the way it goes. And so yesterday, when you saw the 2-year trade higher than the 10-year bond, well, then you know that that's what's going on there. And so the money is trying to find a way to get into this marketplace. They want to be a part of the bottom. They always like to say we don't like to catch a falling knife, but they would like to try to start to get in. Because remember, most funds, almost all funds, like say 90 some odd percent of the funds out there, if not higher, 95% of them, are all designed to buy. They're buyers. They're not. They call themselves stock pickers. So what they're really doing is they're trying to compete against the indices and outperform the indices. That's what it really comes down to. All right, from there, let's jump over to, let's take a look at the Swiss, unless anybody wants to see anything. Let's see. There we go. As you see, the Swiss has been moving up. We were surprised about that, and we saw the euro going the other direction on was it Friday or last week? I guess that's what it was, Friday or last week. No, or it was Monday. Monday. That's what it was. Monday, fun day. right there. There's the Swiss. And you see it's been trying to climb. Like we said a couple weeks ago or last week or something like that, we were talking about this old range, this range, not old range, new range. And it seems to be nice and wide compared to the old range. And it's been pushed up, which must be pushed up probably because of the inflation and interest rates. In other words, it's having an influence on the range itself that the central banks like to keep themselves invested in. So you can see there the Swiss franc is going in that direction up slowly. They're buying dollars, selling Swiss. I think they're moving away from the safety position again. It could be a couple different things, especially when you have a war in Central Europe going on at the same time. A shooting war that could break out into nuclear war. At least one of the players is a nuclear armed nation who keeps on claiming and they could use nukes on them. So, when you have something like that, you have to assume, why isn't the fundamentals really, acting consistently? We say to ourselves, why is gold getting slammed and silver getting slammed? I think we're like 13 days in a daily sell on the silver, that type of thing. So it is a conundrum, I guess you could say. It just shows you how much central banks control the price of the metals complex. Because, here we are, not to repeat myself, but we see the potential for nuclear war, and it's not like, it's not like it's just a wild guess. We have a nuclear armed nation threatening to do it. So that should wake up a few fundamentals, shouldn't it? I would think so. Yeah, I would think so, but I don't see it happening. So let's go check out the euro. Wow. 101.70. Let's put it up there. 101.66 is the low now. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is there. And you can see it there. You can see that pressure. And you can see, the Swiss, or in this case here now, it's the euro going down. And you see all that pressure on it. For some reason, they're running to the dollar for flight to safety. I think that's the only way to really describe it, is it's a flight to safety. And it'll stay that way, obviously, until something else changes that. Not counting how, it's so hard because we don't have a lot of track record anymore compared to 2008 and before, how fundamentals really worked. Now that we have the central banks, the buyer of last resort, it changes the whole complexion of the marketplace itself. Makes it a whole different game. How to measure it, how the fundamentals function through the process. The whole thing. It is a conundrum. All right, let's see. From there we'll go to cable. There we are. Taking out the lows here. Still in that weekly sell since way back here in the what is that? It is the 130.30 area. Up in this area here with the highs of almost 131 that week. And really it started to dip underneath the manifold. It's hard to move around. Oh, that's a daily. Let's see. It's dipped underneath the manifold right there. So it started telling us that there's a lot of problems there. That product had a lot of problems then. And it just keeps on leaking. It just keeps on leaking from all the way over. Just keeps on leaking. So, and as you can see when I tighten it up like that, it's right there. Let's put it up on J4X. There we are. So, when we look at the major currencies, they're heavily influenced by the same factors. That's the best way to describe that. They're influenced by the same factors. I don't know how else to describe it, but it is what it is. And that's the way the markets are going to roll. It's going to be that way for a while. So, what do you do about something like that? Well, we just follow not the fundamentals. We follow the what do you call it? The quantitative. We don't have a choice. We have to stick with our guns there. Just stay with it and accept it, and then go from there. All right, from there. Let's see. There we are. From the cable, we'll go over to the Turkish lira. We'll start off with euro, Turkish lira. It's trying to turn up today. Went into a buy here and has stayed ever since. Got the red green there, so that's not a sell yet. And now today it's right back up there. So let's put that line in there, which I thought we did. Let's try to save it one more time. There you are. So there you have it. The Turkish lira seems to have bottomed again. Now the bigger question is, as I take a sip of my power drink, the bigger question is, are they going to go back up to this area here again? This was an interesting thing. They supposedly were going to block how people buy the dollar in Turkey. That's why that big drop came. I haven't read much about it, just a little bit, nothing more than that. Supposedly it was going to be a better way of also loans. That's what it was. They were going to loan money more frugally. In other words, a little bit smarter. And you can see here, this is the dollar pairs trade against the Turkish lira. And there's the 18 area. And that's what rocked the world of it last time. Let's just go show you. Got up to the 18 and stopped cold, and they created free puts to buyers, but obviously that's running out of steam, which is a surprise to me. But it is what it is. I guess money says it's too much risk. Now let's take a look at it over in J4X. We'll go to the dollar, and then we'll go to the euro pairs trade. Right there. There we go. You see that strength there? You can see that it's bottomed and lifted, and it's trying. It's trying. Just like here. It went into this. Now, where did the lines go? There's the sell lines. And the buy was right there. Yeah. So that's the magic of it all at this point in time. And it's been in that long weekly buy since the beginning of February, as you can see right there. Feb 11th right there. That week it closed in it and started off somewhere. Once it broke that time manifold there, it seemed to, it's got rolling along, and then we closed in it. And then they challenged it a little bit in here, but we were in daily buys. I guess you had your sell there for a little bit again. And then it was just right back in the saddle again. In this case here, did that do it? No, that didn't even do it there. So remove that and remove that. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So they're removed. And then move this over. Oh no, we go like this. This was the sell again right there. And went right back into the saddle again, into the buy. Every time it goes into a daily buy and that weekly buy, finds a way to make money. It is a winner chicken dinner. All right. And from there, let's go back to the Turkish, Euro-Turkish pairs trade. And that's the action we see. Let's see. Let's get it up on J4X. There it is. And you can see that pressure pushing into it. Not afraid to push into it, is it? Just keeps on pushing, refusing to back off. And that's the unfortunate, you know. That is the unfortunate, is that's how the whole process is working out nowadays. They just don't have any ability to hold up. You know, in other words, every time the Turkish lira looks like it has something that's going to do good for the country, it fails. So they seem to be all short-term solutions, which is odd. It's like, why do these short-term solutions? Why not just do something that you know is going to, you know, make your economy move forward? It's like, you know, just, I guess politicians always think that people have short memories or something like that. But in an inflationary environment, it makes it very tough, you know? Extremely tough. All right, from there, let's drift over to... Where are we drifting over to? Oh, there's Jordan. Let's see. Doc, can I ask how much data you have on cable and yen? I can go back to 1971 and 1975. Nah, I only have like, on my math, probably like, I think I can go back like, in the 15s or 14s or something like that. Let's see, if I have to add more. I have to do that. I have to tell it to go back. See, I only have it going back like 700 bars and 500 bars. Let's put them up to 1,000. Let's see what happens when I do that. You can see there that, what is that? That's June of 19. Okay, let's see when I put in 1,000 on both of them. Let's see what that does. So that's all the way back to, what is that? That's still June of 19 on the daily. I'm sorry, on the weekly. Let's see what it does on the daily. The daily goes all the way back now to September of 18. Puts in another year. So I'm my math has been so consistent for so long, I don't really worry about getting so far back. The only reason I ever look back far, I like to use J4X to do that, just to get a flavor for the politics and so forth. You know, in other words, policies by governments, and then how they change their policies, and then watch how the change in the policy reflects in the price of currencies and so forth. Does that make sense to you? So I don't worry about going back too far. I don't need it to back test my math because I've been using the math for so long. Now, some products I think, you know, I might even have, you know, like 2015 or 16. Let's try to expand the numbers on the weekly to match up. Okay, let's see what happens there. So the weekly now goes to, does it do to June 15th again? Looks like it. For some reason, the weekly stops at June 15th of 2009. Oh, no, June 24th of 2019. So that's not too bad. That's 3 years. That's plenty. You can see what 3 years does. We can make that bigger for you. There we are. Let's go back to June of 2019. You can see the dailies do this, do their job. So you can see here it falls into a weekly sell here, and the product finds a way to go down and continuously to go down throughout the trend. It starts to dance and get some positive signals. Not sure what craziness was that on was that August of 2019, but you can see it finally gets into a buy in here. Is it? Yeah, I guess it gets into a buy here, and then fails, and then it gets back into the buy again. Was it in the buy here at all? It was in a sell there, and a sell there. And I guess all throughout that whole time we were in a daily buy. Well, one sell there and a buy there, and then it saves whatever. But in the end result is it had you miss most of that rally on the upside there. When we were following it close in 17, 18, and 19, we had a lot of charts that, we went like 52 weeks, 53 weeks in a weekly buy at times. We went into some really long runs. You can see here in December, the buy there. You can see that it's widened it daily more even. There we are. So you can see, going back, it has a tendency to be accurate, like in the 85 percentile area. You see it all there. That's been a long run. What was that? That was that April of 2020. That was that V bottom we were screaming and yelling about. That went on all the way to December of 2020. You can see the downtrend and uptrend again, and I think we talked about something here. I'm not sure what it was, but we threw a circle in there for something. And then that was when it was trading in the, and what's this? This is the Euro Turkish lira, yeah. And then it gets into the buy here. And so the sells were all right. There's a sell there. It's in a weekly sell, and you have a nice win out of that. And there's a sell there, and you have a nice sell out of that. It gives you some good trades still, but you don't catch any of the uptrends. And then you do. You get into the buy here in the 10, and it goes up to what is that? 1075, and it falls into the sell again right there, and so forth. So that's the longer time, Jordan. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just thinking if I got all the data for the charts, it seems to most pairs can go to amount. Oh yeah, they go back a ways. I'm not sure why this doesn't, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining because it has the same consistency always. The math always stays consistent. So it's rare. Once in a while it'll get a little wonk, but nothing major, and it'll make it back anyway, so it won't matter there. I guess here you can see in 21, in September of 21, it goes into a weekly buy at the 1005, 1006 area maybe, and runs in that weekly buy all the way to, I guess, the wild stuff, up to 18, right? Yeah, there it is, up to the 18 area. No, to the 20.7 area. So it went up, it doubled in price, the product itself, over that time in that weekly buy. Finally gets into the daily sell right there, that wild day when they started giving free puts out. But it took a while for it to get into the weekly sell. So that's the way it rolls sometimes. The idea is to keep you in the trend. The trend is your friend. That's what it comes down to. All right. Glad to answer that question. I hope there's more. Doc loves questions. All right. From there, let's take a look at the Canadian. And there's CAD, dollar CAD pairs trade. It's been in the buy there just for a couple of days. Could have sworn it. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Oh, it did. Now they're showing that as a sell. Yeah, it is a sell, and then back into the buy again. And it's been in the weekly buy, so you couldn't take the sell. You just have to sit and watch it. So you're in the buy here on the weekly. So when you get that sell signal, you're not supposed to take that in a hard delta. You could get away with it with a binary, but you can't do it with the spot. And the next day it shows you why, because it didn't have any strength because of the weekly being so strong there. And then what we normally do is, with it jumping like that, that's probably because of the crude oil. Let's take a look at crude oil. And there's crude. Crude took the dive there. Just like Canadian. Let's put up Canadian on the J4X. There's right there. So you get this big spike here. And we'll just show you again. There's that big spike there, and then what happens? The oil contract, which was in a sell from here and in a weekly sell from here, they just crushed it. So that's the magic of it all, really. Let's see. Then from there, we go to, let's see, what do we do? Oh, I know what it is. We go to the metals complex. So we're going to put gold in there. And we're going to put up the South African Rand, too, at the same time, the currency. And that was tipping us off last week that there was a problem. And even when gold tried to act strong, it wasn't strong enough. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It just wasn't strong enough. Enough. And there you go. You can see it's moving up. It's telling you, it's losing against the dollar. And we're in the weekly buy, and that weekly buy started to jump out really strong right there. Got across the time manifold. We rarely ever talk about that. We just always just show you the close of the week. But that's really where once it gets across that time manifold, the odds are extremely heavy that it's going to go into the weekly buy. And you can see the daily buy was right there. There you go. So there you are. That's always a telltale. At least a lot. Like the same way as Canadian, where we saw the oil contract go into the sell. We saw Canadian try to get back into a sell gain against the dollar, and it failed. And instantly, next thing you know, is bam, bam. It changes gears, and it gets hit even harder. Now, from there we go to. Should we emphasize the CAD a little bit? No, I guess not. We've already done that. Unless somebody wants to look at CAD again, dollar CAD. Basically that's where we stand with that. Now let's go check out Mr. and Mrs. Yen. I thought Yen was going to try to lift up yesterday from that daily buy, which is still, where is it at? The daily buy is here, and it didn't get into a sell yesterday. Oh, it did. No, didn't get into a sell yesterday, and it's still trying to hold up. Oh yeah, it did. It went into a sell there. Something's wrong. Why aren't the lines there? So is that the line? There's the buy. There we are. Is that it there? There. It's a minus. Okay, good. So it comes back to there. There's the sell. Not sure understanding why that is there, but we'll put that in. That's the buy. And now we are flirting. Oh, we went into the sell there. Okay. And now we're waiting to see if we can get into the buy. That's what it comes down to. You're getting volatility points, green and red, green and red, and green and red, green and red right there. So it's battling not to get into the daily buy, but look at the weekly. It's holding up very strong. It's not even remotely challenging the sell side. So I still think that the yen is sideways in here, and it's going to try to get into that buy and make another high somewhere along the line. It's awful high up now. I would think there would be a blow off top, and then, but I guess, if this was September, I would think that would be coming more. Going into the center of the summer. Here we are at July 6th. We're coming into this dead center of the summer where Americans try to take vacations and get away from work, and trading desks get quieter, and that type of thing. So normally I would think that, but maybe they'll go sideways for a couple more weeks. And maybe little buy signals will be very thin, like the last one was not very good at all. See right there, it went into the buy there, and then it I don't think it even took out the day before its high, and still dragged its feet, and then went into a sell. Was it right there? No. What is that? That's the Friday. Didn't make it into the sell there, and then finally made it in the sell there. And what did it do? It showed strength for the last 2 days. And that's that stuff there. This is turning into a little tough times here. But then this is that time of the year. Normally this starts to occur like the last week and a half in July to like the third week in August. That's usually that type of sloppy action. This year it might be even worse. It could be starting earlier, which I keep on thinking it is, and playing out longer going into September, just because of the election situation. The big question is, how much power does the Republicans get? We know they're going to have power. We know they're going to take over. But how much power? Do they get to the point where it's veto-proof, where they can supersede the president altogether? It's a possibility. There's some speculation out there. They're going to be right on the edge of that. I mean, they need 280 seats, and they're going to get 265 to 200 and basically like 85 seats. Anywhere's in there, it's going to be very close. It's going to, it's more on the downside than upside, but it's possible. It's very possible. All right. Now let's jump over to the Mexican peso. There it is. Peso has broken through the 50 percentile. I know I put that green in yesterday. I hate how they disappear. Let's go save it again. Save workspace. Save workspace as. Bingo, bingo, bongo. And so that is the pressure that we're seeing here. Being in the weekly buy from here, and it just keeps on, it went down, touched the bottom end of the range, not play underneath it this time, and lift it up. So it's a higher low. And that's what the peso is up to right at the moment. All right. From there, where do we go from there? That's it on the currencies. Now, if anybody out there would like to look at a currency pair, just let us know and we'll do it. We'll go right back to them. What we're going to do now is we're going to glide over to, there's the metals complex, and then let's, you see here, gold kind of hanging out in the 1776 area. In this case here, it's 1764. So it's a real, where is that inflation? I think we posted something in Trader's World today about that. Where is that inflation? How come the inflation is, not reflected in the metals, that type of thing? And you can see here, been in a sell for a long while. It's been sloppy as all get out. And at the same time, been in a weekly buy for most of that hump on the upside. And then now, I mean, the sell started off. Yeah, the sell started off there. It broke that manifold and then confirmed it on the close of that week. And surprise, what a smash yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, the 5th. So they smashed that thing yesterday, big time. It opens up at, it goes into the sell, or the weekly sell. So you're basically short from 1800, and it trades down to 1763. I think I just got done doing a lecture about it on here. Like, not every sell is going to be, $35, $40, big drop. Boom. The daily and the weekly joined together, and it was crush it. Let's crush that thing. What inflation? We don't need no stinking inflation. And then over on silver, same situation. It's been in that sell. I guess we went into a buy there. Yeah. So it goes into the buy there, but we've been in that sell there right at that point. Let's see. No, that's not what I'm doing. Save those lines. Save workspace. Save workspace as. Bingo, bingo, bungo. And so the silver is joining in. Now let's take a look at silver. And let's see, where's it at? On J4X there. Let's take a look at gold too. There's gold. Look at that rollover. It's, as we would say on the trading floor back in the old days, it's puking. It's throwing up. It's puking hard. Same thing with the silver. Puking hard. And you can see the lines even here. Down here below, it's starting to get totally confused. It's like, well, we're at the lows, people. We're at the lows. Isn't anybody going to buy any of us? And it's like, well, what do you need to buy gold and silver for? I mean, the Federal Reserve takes care of everything now. That's pretty much what the charts keep on screaming. It's like, nah, don't worry about this inflation stuff. It's not relevant. It's transitory. The Fed comes out. There's some government stuff coming out today, and I think the Fed comes out at 2 Eastern Standard Time here in the States today. They're announcing some stats. And they lowered the gross domestic product again on yesterday. The Georgia, the one that follows it the most, or is the Richmond Fed? Or I think it's the Georgia Fed. Georgia Fed came out and said they lowered it down to 2.1 minus now. So they're making it lower than last quarter. You would think that it could go 3 quarters. I'm not sure if it can. With the Fed in charge, they may try to do something to perk it up. So we'll see. But you would try to guess if anything, it will not be as low as whatever the Fed is going to be announcing over the next week or so, whenever the GDP comes out. We must be about a week away from that at this point, aren't we? 2 weeks away from it, maybe? Something like that. We'll have to see what the date is for that. And we'll do the countdown. So from there, we go to copper. And there's copper. There's September copper. And you see the pressure on that. Same situation. That's like that industrial thing. To tell you the truth, I really thought that they had finally figured it out, and we were going to see copper hang out in the low fours, the high threes, 370, 380. I thought the first test would have been like 387, and then they would, go from there to bounce up and give you a second chance to sell. I remember saying that in the webinar, especially right here. It's like we thought for sure we were in a sell. We went into that weekly sell, and I said, more than likely like 387, and there's a low of like 391. Then all of a sudden the next day it's 373 blowing through there. I remember saying, wow, 13 points lower than I was thinking. And then it never, even from the bounce, the best, they couldn't even come up and challenge that 83. They didn't do it there. They got the 81. That was a little higher than 81. They couldn't even bounce it up to 83. And then another smash down again. So, surprise, surprise, surprise. And then let's check out platinum for the first time this week. I guess we got to change that contract. We're going to be moving to, you can see there, it's still in the weekly sell from the $1,000 area. And now we are at 870. So that thing is really choked up. It's been a daily sell since right there. I did try to jump into a buy yesterday. No, that was Friday. And that is yesterday. Let's see if we can change the, go like that and see if we can get a little more fill in. There it is. So it went into the buy yesterday, but we're in a weekly sell, so you're not going to buy this thing. You can see it's flirting with the buy again today, but not with that weekly sell. You can't step up and play that puppy. I mean, if you do it through binaries or something, it's all right, but not straight hard, metal contract. Because you could get stopped out very easily with the overall trend that is downside, and you just get a day or two of buying, and then it rolls over again. Now, from there, what are the metals? Yeah. So now, I guess, where do we go from platinum? I guess that's done. From platinum, we're done on the metals, so we'll go over to the energies. And there is crude oil. And let's check out North Sea. Oh, we didn't look at the copper real quick. There's copper. Yeah, same old. Look at that. Rolling. Whoop, I had to sneeze there. Excuse me, people. Whoop, all done. Let's see, 2 in a row. Hey, Doc. Hey, 47. Could you look at the Nikkei? Yeah, let's see what the Nikkei's doing. There's the Nikkei. Right there. There we go. Seems to be quiet today. But again, it's pushing into the sell. I guess it went into the buy here on the day it was closed here in the States. And I'm a little surprised. Let me just give it a spin. See if we can re-excite that a little bit. Close. See if that dot stays. Whoa, what did I do there? Okay. Let me see, where's the load? There it is. Reload the chart for a week. Nope, didn't change it any. Alright, so, and they're not showing now that Monday thing. So they're just showing there. It's been in a buy from there, and it's just, going nowhere. The weekly is flirting. Look at that. The weekly's looking pretty good there today. It's trying to lift up through the 0 line. It's plus 66. Maybe they're going to bottom fish a little bit there. I thought I had the 3.5 going on there. I'm not sure why we're using the 2 and 1 standard deviation lines. That's what the GAS 3 is. So in other words, it's the same histogram thing as GAS 3 there. Where the green line and the white line work together, but one is a second standard, a first standard deviation from it. So they're always plus and minus together. They're just more extreme. And then it's like instead on the GAS 3 instead of GAS line 3, it does 2 manifolds so you can see them. 2-time manifolds, and it's using the same standard deviation thing. So you can see here it's trying to lift up at the moment, right there. It's trying to get into the buy. So that'll be interesting to see. If a weekly actually does that, that would be really cool. I thought I changed this to GAS line 3.5. I'm really surprised. Let's do that, just for the fun of it. Let's see, cancel. Indicator. It'll pop up here somewhere. There we go. And then add. I'll show you the difference. GAS line 3.5 versus the GAS line 3. It's around here somewhere. There it is. No, that's the gases. There's the 3.5 super. See, properties to begin with. Let's make it that. And then let's put it in 3. So there it is. And then we can do this. We can turn off that. See, like that. And you see, I think it's let's turn it back on again. You'll see the cell. Oh, I see what's going on. Is that right there? That's got to be moved down, right? So the weekly cell is there. Now when we turn that off, yeah, that's interesting. So that's why we're doing that. The gas 3, put it into the cell there. That's what it was. That's why we're watching it that way. I wonder if the gas, yeah, that's what, and the 3.5 disrupts that. That's what it is. Now let's try that again like this. And turn that off. Notice the weekly is not even moving up through it yet. It was a week behind. That, I think it's like, if you'll notice, I think I use a 7 on, I forget what product it is. Some of them, it's all comes down to their beta and their volatility. And so in this case here, the gas is more efficient on a weekly basis. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, it's definitely more efficient. And so there's the action to it right there. And now it's trying to lift up through the 0 line and get going again. So we'll trust that more. All right, from there we jump over to where were we? Oh, we were looking at crude oil. There's crude oil, and we were looking at what were we looking at? Brent. There it is. All that pressure on it coming down to the par area, and you see all that weakness that's been there on the oil. And then let's see, where are we going from there? We go to the back month on the Chicago quant charts. Right there, there's the October contract, and it's trading at 92.63. Still showing good pressure in there. You know, it's been in that weekly sell since back in here. And let's see what else. And the daily sell was right there. So that was a good winner chicken dinner. And then we jump over to natural gas. There's nat gas. Same situation, falling down there. And we've been in the weekly sell since back here. So, and that was an interesting one too. Let's see, where was it? That was a sell there, and I put it back into the buy there. Then I put it back into the sell there. There you are. So that's the pressure that's going on in this complex, which is really good here in the States. Unfortunately, you're not feeling it in Europa. That's the sad part, because in Europe they're getting pounded on that. Here it is. Here's Euro natural gas right there. It's still over 27. Still acting firm, you know. And I saw where they're going to start importing Israeli natural gas, and that's not far away. I mean, it's like Russia, you know, basically. So, you know, it's in the center of it's in south of the South Mediterranean. So they could basically find a way, you know, knowing the Israelis, they'll find a way to put a pipeline in and make it permanent. You know, it'll be something like that. And then that will open the doorway for, you know, I mean, especially at 27, you know, a cubic foot. You know, I'm sure Europe would gladly pay future costs and bring that stuff down to 6 or 7, you know. That's a big nut, as I would say, you know, cost-wise, you know. All right. And from there, that's pretty much the energy sector. We kind of wash that away, and then we go over to the stock indices. There's the S&P 500. And let's see. Let's close that out. And then let's check out the intraday. Right there. And there's the intraday for the the euro. I'm sorry, not the euro. The S&P 500. And it's what is it, up just 1.5, and it was as low as 15 there at the beginning of the webinar, something like that. There's the beginning of the webinar right there. So it was down at that point 10 points minus. And then when we look at it when Europe got going, right here is your opening. The product was trading right up where we're at now, in the what is that, the 3,838 area, and that's where we are now, like 36 or 37, 35, right there. 36 is the high. So it's pressing into that, getting back to where Europe sold it down, and then it climbed back up to it. I guess it was like about halfway through the morning, and then sold it down again, and then brought it back up to it, and then tried to sell it down here, and we got a higher low. And you can see we're in a buy from here, right there, and it's pushing up. And then, and you can see here we do both of those. We have the 3, what is that? That's a gas 5, okay, not gas line 5. And the top is a gas line 3.5. So you can see we're watching both of those, and now we're taking out these highs here. And as this gets up into the manifold, starts to curve, it'll put some pressure on it. The following the manifold lines is like watching an overbought, oversold. So it gets into a sell there, then you start to look to try to take your profits, or even now you would take some of your profits, and then and then wait for the last one, or use that area as a stop for the higher move when it makes a new high. See, it's not piercing the second dashed line. See if we can widen that for you so you can see that. There we go. See, it's just riding. That's usually a sign of strength when it does that. Now you can see here, it comes up and kisses it, and it becomes a top at the same time and drops. In this case here, it drops, and it does a little drop there, and you even get into a sell, and it goes right back into a buy. I think it's off of this one. No, I don't think so. Yeah, see, it's right there. It gets back into the buy and fails totally. Doesn't go anywhere. And it's piercing through. Let's get rid of that. And it's piercing through very aggressively. And then next thing you know, the green line is finally rolling over. And now it's doing it. It's trying to do it now. You can see that. It got through it. Now it's trying to break through it. Let's see how it bounces off of this and tries to do a second move on the upside. And remember, your stop is here because you were long from here. That's using the intraday game with the hard delta. And that is the magic of it all. All right, now let's look at the Tech 100. There, right there. There's the Tech 100. Let's put it up on. Oh, and we didn't put up the daily. Let's see, where is it at? Tech 100. There it is, Tech 100. There's the daily there, and let's look at the daily here. It's in a daily buy from here, and it's pushing, but our weekly is having its issues. Even the manifold is still stuck underneath the bottom one there. So, I'm like I said, I'm really convinced we're going to start seeing like a very steady malaise. Normally it starts about 2 weeks from now, but I just really think that this election has it all tangled up. I really do, and normally it ends going into after the second week, going into the third week of August. So usually 2 weeks before July, the last 2 weeks or a week and a half of July, it gets really sloppy. And it gets sloppy. It's like the Christmas thing, everybody's disappearing. So the decision makers are trying to play with their kids and be on the beach and trying to do summer things and not be tangled up with work. And They protect their positions, but they try not to initiate new positions unless they have to. So, the markets can be very choppy this time of the year. And that's usually this is really the thrust of it all. There we are. So that should be the title today too. And let's see what the intraday looks like now. Maybe now. Didn't update yet. Let's see, what do we have? Like 3 days in it? That's why. Let's go with 2. Nothing yet. Sure would like to see it. Let's try 1. Nothing yet. Let's try 1, just so we can see something. There you are. So you got the buy right there, and then you got a sell. Does give it a sell? It didn't, because it was red and green. So it's been basically in a buy from there all the way up to there. There's a sell, just like there was the last sell right there. So we can get a second day in there, get back further. All right. Then from there, what do we got? We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's check them out. There it is on J4X. They're just down a little bit. Yesterday was down more. It was kind of interesting. Let's see if we're getting a fill back and fill on that chart. Kind of missing there too, isn't it? Interesting. There we are. That's how dead that is. That's a perfect example of how dead it is, because we use spatial charts on the intraday. So in other words, if they're not getting the trades, then you're not getting the trades. That's what it really comes down to. If they're not getting trades, you're not getting trades. All right, traders, I just realized that the New York bell is going off as we speak. We're going to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is, wow, Thursday. This is hump day already, so this is really cool. All right, we will catch you all tomorrow, same time. Yep, I agree with you. That sounds good. And so, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Arrivederci.